Josh, define what is a good wedding and what is a good honeymoon.
A good wedding to me is about 500.
A good wedding is about 500
You want a
people.
party.
Yeah, I want to raise it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, how could you make sense of spending $75,000 for a great wedding versus $15,000 for a great honeymoon?
Hey, we're live.
Somebody else might come to that wedding. Multiple people might come to that wedding.
So are you willing to spend $75,000 on your wedding?
So your wedding's gonna be a big party. Basically, is what it's gonna be.
You.
You- Right.
All right, everybody. We are live. Saturday sales training is back.
Gosh,
I
good to
do
be back.
apologize. I'm rusty. I'm very rusty. Good morning, Andre. Thank you for getting on here. Will you do me a huge favor? Turn the volume down.
Got it.
Like, comment, and share the stream. And fire your question today. What we're talking about is how to enter negotiations. Who is spending $75K on a wedding? Well, Josh is making a decision. I've got him in the sales pendants. Pendants. Pim does. Okay, Josh. Good morning, Jason Jones. Would you rather spend $75K on a wedding or $15,000 on a great honeymoon?
75 grand on a wedding.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then negotiation. See, I'm collecting all the data from you right now. I told you something earlier today. It's one thing to talk, and it's one thing to decide. Know that in a negotiation.
good.
Right now, the dude's just talking shit.
Yep.
I'm reacting.
Josh, do you have $75,000 for you and Zena?
Yeah.
How can you make sense of doing this?
Work and get 75 grand.
Okay, so when will the wedding happen? What if Zena wants to get married right now?
It'd be a shitty wedding.
Have you even proposed?
No,
I mean,
Good morning, Amanda.
Let's start there.
Dog.
She sent me a thing. She said, I'd rather spend 75 grand to go on 4 different countries than feed 600 people.
Well, she would rather do a honeymoon.
Yeah.
Okay, if she were here right now, who would be the decision maker on what you're going to do? Her. So do you think you're going to do the big wedding or the honeymoon?
Basically, get married at the courthouse.
Here's what people do in negotiation. They start trying to sell off what some idiot says. He's sitting here wanting to do a wedding, but his wife ain't going to let him do that. Who are you the decision maker? That'd be a good question right here. We
Yep.
can do how to enter negotiations.
Yeah, I'm the decision maker.
Right now, Josh, you and your beautiful girlfriend Zeno are going to get married.
Right.
Who is going to be the decision maker in the wedding?
It's going to be a mutual decision.
A mutual decision. Okay. Well, if she said no, we're not going to do the wedding for $75,000. We're going to spend it on the honeymoon. What would you do?
Probably do whatever she says.
Who is the decision maker?
She
You
is.
got to understand, we created the sales pendants. Before you move on, you need to. Is it pendants?
PIMDAS.
Write it out. on
Yeah.
the-
Somebody spell
on
it.
that.
Somebody put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat so I know what you're talking about. So whenever we know who wears the Drew is Drew's bored. He's been on vacation this
Yeah.
week.
Why is he not here?
So remember this PIMDAS.
There you go.
Liliana, are you sure that's how you spell it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are you okay? So understand this. Whenever you enter a negotiation, you're going to have to start fact finding immediately. Josh said he'd rather spend $75,000 on a wedding, and I'm a wedding venue. My first question might be, hey, do you plan on getting married in the near future?
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly. Now, why did you say possibly? Is this even something you're considering? I'm not going to call her up and tell her. Is it something you're considering? Would you be interested in the next month, or will it be more like 2 years out?
2 3 years.
2 3. Now, how important is it for you to have this $75,000 wedding?
It's extremely important. I want it to be a day I'll never forget.
I love that. Now, tell me, what does that look like?
A lot of attention. I want a lot of people there.
Okay. How do you think you're going to feel that day?
So important.
Now, your girlfriend, what's her name? Zani? Zini? Xanax.
Yeah.
Xanax. Okay, I see her now. Is she on board? Is she wanting to do this?
No, she wants to go on a nice honeymoon instead.
Oh, I completely understand. This is something that happens quite often around here. Okay. Well, if you're anything like me and my wife, you and her probably have talked. Does she know you're here this morning?
Yep.
Okay, now what did she tell you to do?
Just go check out the prices. You know, obviously she wants to have a lot of people too, but she'd rather go on a honeymoon. Kind of want to balance it out.
I completely understand. How many venues have you been at? How many have you looked at?
The first one.
The first one. Have you looked online at it? See, have you looked online? I think he's probably been looking online.
Yeah, I looked at a few.
How many did you look at?
Probably 10, maybe.
10 of them. Now, why did you pick this one to come look at? What was it about ours?
The scenery is amazing.
The scenery is amazing. How important is that to you?
Oh, that's the most important.
The
Scenery
most-
and space.
Scenery and space. Okay, so like right now, do you know anything about our price? Did you know anything about our price before you came here?
I saw it was like 20,000.
$20,000. Okay, so does that make sense to you? Could you justify spending $20,000? What's the most money you could justify spending on your wedding and your honeymoon combined?
75,000 is our cap.
You must have a great job.
Yeah.
Great boss.
I'm a damn good realtor.
You're damn good. Now, $75,000. Now we got to put a time on this. When do you think you'd be ready to accomplish this? When do you think it would be the right time to ask her to marry you?
I'm saying about a year and a half.
In about a year and a half? Is that when you want to ask her and extend this out?
Yeah, ask her.
Are you? So when do you think the wedding would be?
Probably about 2.5, maybe 3 years.
Are you sure this is the right one for you? Got to get them. Hey,
I
hard question.
Yeah.
You're what?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so do you think you're just going to be able to stroke a check that day for, let's say it's $37,000
By then, yeah.
by then? Okay, so what if I were to offer you something today where I can hold this spot for you into the future? We can pick the date later. I would just need a payment up front, and then we can collect as we go. And whenever the time gets here, you've already paid for it.
How much is the payment?
Today it's $750.
That's it?
It's $750 today.
What happens if I decide not to do it? Would you guys keep it?
You probably made a good decision.
Would I get it back though, or would you guys keep it?
No, this is the spot. I'm moving you into the future. I'm going to allow you any day to lock in a date, though. I just need a $750 deposit.
Okay.
And here's what I'm going to do for you. Not only am I going to give you the best venue in Middle Tennessee, I also have a honeymoon package that I'm going to throw in. It's going to save you an additional 30%. Do I have your attention with that?
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going. So look, here's what I'm trying to solve for you, Josh. Is that your name, Josh? I'm trying to solve both of this at the same time. You're going to have the best honeymoon, and we've got special relationships with a travel agent where we're going to get you the best locations at the best prices.
Beautiful resort down in Bell Buckle, Tennessee.
Yes. Well, actually, it's actually in the back there. We got a green screen. It's a virtual reality. My wife is on here. Everybody say hello to my wife, Jason Jones. Options. You can't negotiate without options. I like that. How many options do you think you should give somebody? I talked about that first thing this morning. Our biggest problem that we have is we negotiate one option. What is our one option?
Houses.
House. We need to find a way to extend out our options. Hey, if you're not looking to buy a house, do you believe the real estate market is going to continue to go up? Mm-hmm. Would it make sense for you to buy a real estate property? If you're not interested in a property, would you be willing to invest in my fund? If the market has gone up, how long have you owned your house?
5 years.
5 years. How much do you think your house has gone up?
I'd say probably about $150,000.
$150,000. Do you have any interest in selling it?
No, I love one.
Man, that is awesome. Well, if I could show you a way where I could get you to pull out about 75% of that $150,000 for tax-free, could you find a use for that $100,000?
Hell yeah.
What would you do with it?
Hey, I got a boat I'm wanting to.
Oh, I like that. Tell me about it. Tell me about the boat. Are you getting married? Tell me about the boat, Josh.
Oh, it's a miniature yacht.
It's a mini yacht. How much is it?
$75,000.
Would this be an investment for you?
No, it would just be.
Well, how can you make sense of doing it?
Well, hell, I bought the house. I can do whatever I want with that $75,000.
So, see, I'm asking him questions to see which way he's leaning. Do you feel like it's an investment? He said no. Well, how can you make sense of it?
I want to have fun.
Is it worth $75,000?
Where my clients out there.
Oh,
No,
See,
yeah.
whenever you can get them
Customer
to start
appreciation.
making sense of things, what are they doing?
Selling themselves.
Selling themselves. The voodoo of sales is getting them to do it themselves. It's the more you're trying to talk somebody into doing something, the more they're just going to resist what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
The more I'm telling you to do this, the more I'm telling you you need to do this. Our brain is like an old guard dog. Have you ever had a dog?
Yeah.
What was its name?
I've had a few.
Tell me about your last
Well,
one,
they're all
Doug.
girls.
Let's talk about your last
Okay,
one.
yeah,
Let's
Doug.
talk about Doug. Whenever in the middle of the night, if you got up and stirring around the house, would Doug ever start barking?
Yes.
Why?
There's a ghost.
Yeah.
Because he's a guard dog.
Yeah.
Your brain's that guard dog. Whenever something ain't right, whenever something don't feel right, it starts barking in your head. You got that barking noise. Entertain clients on the boat and deduct the party advertising. See, we're already figuring out a way to make sense of wasting $75,000
That's right.
for Josh. If people can't make sense of doing something, they're not going to do it. They may bullshit you in the information gathering stage, but once it's time to decide, once it's time to ink, people freeze up because you didn't shake out all their problems before you got to that point. That's why you got to ask hard questions. Is it an investment?
No.
How can you make sense of doing this?
I just want to have a cool place to go.
If you had that $75,000 in your hand right now, is there any other way, or is there any other place you'd want to put that money?
Actually, yeah.
Now,
Might want to buy another house.
now we've got a dude that sold on the cash out refi, but he don't. Eric's trying to sell him this damn boat, and you're backpedaling on it. See, here's what you got to understand: whenever you're negotiating, whenever you're closing, whenever you're selling a product, who is your competitor? Trick question.
Grant Cardone and Tim Grover.
Person you're selling?
The world.
Everybody.
Because Josh was going to buy a $75,000 boat. The competitor, he wasn't shopping boats. He pivoted. He changed his mind and said, well, I might go buy a house.
Might spend it on the wedding. Might spend it on the, right?
Drew said, everybody else, you're always competing against the world because you don't have a place where your money goes guaranteed. How much money have you spent this morning?
Probably like $50.
Already?
Yeah.
Did he get any of it?
No.
Nope. Did he get any of it?
Hell.
No. No.
See, when you're in sales, you need to understand this. People are going to spend their money. They're going to spend it.
Today.
They're
I'm
gonna-
going to spend some money today.
They're going to spend it today. You got to get them to make sense of the correct way to spend the money. For you guys, I can't afford $400 because they would rather continue to blow the $400 the way they're going to do it. Okay, so for me, back in the day, I wasn't willing to invest
good.
my money into something because my $400 had to go into get drunk and chasing ass. That was where my money had to go. It's probably where yours. Where's your money go now? 10x. 10x. Well, that was how I had to make sense of stuff. Now look, I don't want to change this. This is non-negotiable for me. I got to go out on Friday and Saturday night. This was long ago, back when I didn't even have $400. But something started to change when I started investing my time and money in new places. So understand this: your competitors are not this person or this person. Your competitors could be Netflix, could be a phone, it could be a dinner, it could be all these different things where I would rather put my money right here. So
Betting on football games. Right?
becomes a damn addict.
Huh?
Bookie.
That's right.
Could become addicted to gambling.
Drugs.
So know
Drugs.
this: the first thing that we try to negotiate here with people that we don't know, who can answer the question? What's the first thing we're negotiating?
Time.
Time. Drew said could be OnlyFans.
Have y'all seen Drew's OnlyFans?
I haven't. Pull it up.
What's that? What is it? What is it? I don't know what that is.
So whatever, if your brain can get specific as the salesperson, if your brain can get specific of the target to know exactly, here's what I'm trying to accomplish right now, Liliana. I just want 30 seconds of your time. I'm not even getting into the offer right now. But see, I feel like most salespeople, they come in and they're trying to negotiate a product sale. That's all they can see is the result. But this thing is like broken down. It's broken down into little bitty micro targets called agreements. We agree here. We agreed on 30 seconds, okay? Now I'm going to agree to get your attention. Hey, can I just get 30 seconds of your time? I've already said that. I've got the greeting. Okay, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to try to get the time, 30 seconds of your time. And then depends on how hardcore you want to be is, hey, why did you take my call? Why, you know, that's something that a lot of people don't have the balls to do. Or why did you call me? Why are you interested in this? Why would you do it right now? What stuck out to you about this? So what if you guys can force yourself to slow down instead of you pitching things, asking them a question. So I feel like it's a lot easier whenever we're doing what y'all sell because there's such a variety of products.
Why did you show interest in this? Why did you come to this particular event? Right?
And that's why whenever you're marketing and bringing in leads, there was something at that moment for that person to be interested. You need to go back to that time. Why were you interested then? What was it about that ad? What was it about that opportunity that got your interest? And then they need to say something. What, I don't know. Always get answers.
If you had to guess.
Is what changed a bad question? Is that leading them the wrong way?
It depends on when you use it.
Like in what you're saying, like, if say a customer was at once interested and now he's not, and he would give you the runaround saying, I don't know.
Yep.
Would you go into, well, what's changed from now to then?
Not yet. My first question would be to get the answer. And then if it was at this time I was interested and now I'm not, then I would pull that out. Hey, great, I completely understand. Well, did something change from the moment of interest to the moment of discovery? What changed?
Well, didn't know prices were so high in this one.
Oh, okay.
I need to save some more money to compete.
Okay, so where do you think prices are going to be in the future?
I hope they're going to go down. I don't see it happening.
Where do you think they'll be in a year?
Probably a lot higher than now.
So whenever you said the prices were too high, was it the purchase price or the amount of money you had to bring?
The money I had to bring.
The money you had to bring. Well, if I could show you an option where you didn't have to bring maybe as much money, would you still be interested?
Yes.
So the down payment is the only problem. Are you certain?
Probably.
So how much? So instead of so our brain, if we're looking at down payment, I got to get specific right here. How much money do you have? Hard question.
Got 10 grand
I got 10 grand.
total.
How much money do you need to make this happen?
When I was looking, we had to go over appraisal.
Yep.
Realtor said I needed about $20,000.
So what number are we trying to solve?
10 grand.
10 grand. How long would it take you to resolve $10,000?
About 6 months.
6 months. If you had to get it faster than that, is there any way you could do it?
Maybe 5.
How could you do it in 5? Because see, now I got to break this down to how he can make sense of doing it. How could you do it in 5 months?
Just stop eating out so much.
There you go.
What else?
I could just make my coffee at home.
What else? So if we're just trying to solve this one problem of money, is there anybody, and do you believe that it would be a good investment?
Yes.
Do you think prices are going to go up in the next 10 years?
Yes.
Do you think it'd be a good enough investment to go borrow a little bit of money from your family?
Yeah.
Would you consider doing that?
I don't know if they've got much to help me.
All right, now I got a question because I get into question asking. No, wait, hang on a second. You help me with questions a lot.
But it's got to be. I want
But
to
I
get.
feel like you're interrogating him.
I am.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like what?
I am because I know what the problem is. Hey, I can even say this. Hey, if I'm making you uncomfortable, I'm sorry, but I sense you really want to solve this problem. Is that correct?
That's good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
So if I give you these options, you're not going to be offended, are you? Okay, so here's. Say what?
I appreciate you, Tommy.
Thank you. So look, right now
That
we're
was
trying to
weird.
solve. We're really trying to solve $10,000 in the next year. You feel like you could save $5,000 over the next 5 or 6 months. What if you could get another job? What if you could borrow money from a friend or a family member? Would you do that?
If I could, I would.
Is there any?
Seems like you're really being pushy here.
I've got his permission.
You're
I've
hard,
got
you're hard
his.
selling him, Tommy.
No, I'm not hard. Do you think I'm hard selling? I'm not hard selling because I ask if I can do this. I'm not hard selling because I ask, is he interested in doing this?
Here's the reason I'm saying that though. I really don't believe that. But most salespeople will say, I don't want to hard sell somebody. I don't want to make somebody uncomfortable. I don't want to.
Yeah, but I can overcome that by saying, hey, is this a problem you really want to solve? Do you want me to help you find options?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So now how could I hard sell him?
That's good.
I feel like the difference is he's asking questions and being of service. And
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Selling or asking
That's right.
questions, and it's not deriving from being of service. It's
Yeah.
more of, is this the product?
That's good.
Let me try to sell you on the product.
But the key, this is what you taught me whenever we did this way before, was you're building trust by asking permission. Do you have 30 seconds, right? Can I present these options?
The salesperson, you're in a sweet spot whenever you're giving me permission to ask and
Yeah.
you trust me because we're trying to solve the money problem.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to speed this to, hey, if you don't want to do this, I'm not going to ask anymore. But if you indicate you want to do this, my job is to demonstrate a solution for you.
That's good.
Unless you're not comfortable doing this, and hey, the last thing I want you to do right now, Hayden, is do something you're not comfortable with. But what would you want to do right now?
I want to buy a house.
Are you sure? I build his assurances up by asking him questions, not by telling him things. Like Noah says, I'm of service right here. I'm helping him solve a problem. I keep digging in and asking hard questions. Don't mistake hard questions as being pushy. A question is not pushy. Telling somebody you need to do this, you need to do this. Remember, whenever I ask you a question, whenever I ask you a hard question, or anytime I ask you a question, your brain does one thing, it gets its attention. As opposed to me saying something. Like I'm talking up here the whole time, Liliana's thinking about, what are you thinking about lunch right now, aren't you? What do you think, right now,
Yeah.
what are you thinking about?
She's getting her hair done today.
I'm tired.
She's getting her lashes done today.
Now I got Liliana's attention just like this. You know what the question? You know how?
Yes, their question.
Ask her a question. The brain develops a heartbeat with a question. Like you're flatlining whenever you're talking. Mm-hmm. Ask you a question. It would get your attention. You're probably like, oh, that motherfucker don't ask me nothing right now. Because I'm just ready for him to
Look
be.
how closed off she
I'm
is.
ready for her to be. I'm ready for him to be over right now. But the way you bring them to life is asking them a question. Asking questions is how you negotiate.
Yep.
Whenever you tell people they need to do it, the first thing their brain does, if it's listening, is it tries to find a way to discover how you're wrong. It's searching. Sarah Marshall, maybe they could take on a second job or sell things to get the extra money a bit faster, cut out other things as well. Yeah, I needed Hayden to find a creative way to come up with that extra $5,000 that he's going to. And a lot of times we're not going to go this far. I'm just using this as an example on people that could get you to buy something right now, like you guys.
Yeah.
Like you guys sell something. Where are you going, Josh?
Back to my seat.
What were you doing in there?
I was on the phone.
With who?
Another agent.
Zelo lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zelo lead.
Zena, so are you ready to ink up on this deal right here? See, when you go down to Cardone's office, they ask you enough questions, and then you've agreed with it so much, it's almost like you can't go against your self-belief of what you want to do.
There's a power in agreement.
Sales are made out of agreement. Do you think you need help?
Right?
Yeah.
Why do you think you need help?
Shit, I ain't making enough money a year.
Well, how much longer do you want to live like this?
Yeah.
Do you think this product could help you?
Sure could.
Do you think it could help you? I'm sure it could is not an answer.
Yes, it could help. Yeah.
Could you justify spending $500 a month to make $15,000 a month?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Would you be willing to do it right now?
Sure.
You don't sound certain. What is it that I'm
just
saying?
scared that $500 a month is a big commitment.
It is a big commitment. And the last thing I want you to do is commit to something you don't, if you don't believe in yourself, I don't want you to do it.
I believe you. Tell me I believe it. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying I believe in you. I believe in you more than you believe in yourself. I know you'll take this $500 and turn it into $5,000.
Okay.
I know you'll do it. If you'll listen, if you'll do it, do you have a problem committing to something? Do you believe this stuff works? It worked for everybody in this room. Hey, I got y'all in here on timeshare presentation.
Yeah.
It's worked for all of them. Do you believe everybody in this room is smarter than you? More committed than you? More driven than you?
No,
How do you think this could fail?
I don't think it could.
Let's just do it.
Fine.
Jason Jones, the 10,000K is the short-term issue. The process of learning how to get to 10K will be priceless in the future for bigger opportunities. I agree 100%. So we're going to wrap this up. How long? We've been going 26 minutes. I want to keep this right at 30 minutes so people can get in and get out. I appreciate you coming. If you're watching or if you're here, you're really negotiating with your future self and you're not even aware of it. There is a reason why you're watching this, watching me, or you're coming up here. It's because there's something inside of you that wants something more. So whenever you're talking to people, the first thing that you really need to discover is, well, what is their interest level? Instead of, like, if somebody says they're ready to do this, if I were to give you a lead and hey, they're ready to do this, when you call that person up, hey, Tom Gavin, thank you for getting on here.
Oh, hey, Tom.
But usually Eric asks me a lot of questions. See, I'm rusty, man. I haven't even gotten
You
involved.
ain't give me a chance.
Well, what would you like to ask?
You ain't took a breath in 30 minutes.
I apologize. Give me something.
This is the best damn show I've ever seen.
No.
Give me
It is
something.
good though, because we ain't done this in forever.
We haven't. I'm rusty.
It's question. The question answering thing is what you've helped me with the most,
Questions put you in control.
and I'm just realizing how bad I've got. Just
Questions control the questions and answers. Like if I ask you a question and you don't answer it, I'm not in control. If I ask you a question and I make you get an answer, how do you think I get an answer to the question?
I'll give you a good example. So we did an event this week. We made a pitch. We had 4 people commit. They said yes. I'm in. I sent them an invoice, wrote the deal up. But what I should have called them and asked them, why do you want to do this? Right? Tell me why you said yes. Right? Instead of just.
Well, did they do it?
So far, one of them has.
Ooh. Are you? Oh.
25%.
How many more transactions does Josh need to do in order to give his lady the wedding of his dreams?
Tom, he needs some of your money. Yeah. Yeah.
Tom, we need you to buy a second house and a third house over here, millions of dollars. Josh is so determined. I know he's going to get there. But what I was asking, the questions have to be answered.
How do you get them answered?
I just ask it again, like I didn't even hear it. I just
You did this with me last night.
Like-
Are you sure you could be there tomorrow?
I'm
Are
just
you-
gonna.
are you promised?
I'm just gonna knock out the noise until I get the answer. You
Yeah.
in the back.
What were you going to say about if you got somebody interested? If you're calling somebody, you know they want to do something. What are you going to go into?
See, a lot of people assume, like my wife. I hope she's not on it. My wife does a lot of assumptions, a lot of assuming. Just because they wanted information does not mean they're interested.
Right.
So I'm not going to settle that as interest. I do think they're probably interested, but I always force people to say it. Say it! Is this something you're even interested in?
Yeah.
And then, okay, well, tell me right now, are you interested in price? Are you interested in, and I'm going to give you the things to choose from. What are you the most interested in? How could this solve your problem? When would you like to accomplish? I can't speak. I'm so dry this morning. What would you like to accomplish? I'm going to ask you these questions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you can just train yourself to ask questions instead of selling. Most people try to sell something. They try to sell their idea to something. Like, what if I came in here and I try to convince that guy on the wall to buy something?
Be tough.
It would be, but some people that you're pitching to are that guy.
Yeah, no doubt.
You don't even know that you're talking to like a wall. Just because one day I was looking at information. 96% of people get online just to get information. So you're in 2 different categories. You're looking to get information or you're looking to decide. Don't try to close people that are trying to get information because they can't make a decision until they have all the information.
Hey, you made up a good point earlier. We don't think about this enough. Is just because you got somebody on the phone, don't mean they're paying attention to you.
No.
You know,
Especially if you're doing all the talking.
kind of like today.
I know I did a lot of talking. I'm rusty. I'm rusty. I apologize, but I'm rusty, and I got to talk because I can't remember shit.
Yeah.
It's like I'm brain fogged.
You're
up.
trying to get yourself.
Yeah,
back in-
yeah.
that's good.
So see, I'm not on my game. It's obvious. We had somebody in here the other day, and my thoughts are up there, and I got to go and retrieve them and then talk about them. In the old days, it was simultaneous. That's when you're good.
Like
Right.
an oil machine.
Right now, I'm resty. Right now, Eric could probably hear that brain.
If a Zillow lead called in right now to your phone, do you think you could shut him down? Right now.
Here's why I would struggle with Zillow leads or incoming leads. It's not about the conversation. It's about the service that I don't want to deal with.
Right.
Because if I talk to them, I feel like I'm obligated to continue to talk to them. So I hate doing that. I hate to give them this and then they don't have me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one, I don't like to work with individual leads anymore.
Yeah.
So and it's not because of the call, it's because of the service that comes afterwards.
Right. You won't know what to do.
Because I can't deliver great service and do this.
Right.
You know, if somebody was wanting to do something at 8:45 or 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning, I'm obligated. You know, I've just got a lot more obligations than I used to have. But I do think this. I do think that a lot of the people that are here are at my level. You know, there was a time where, like, I didn't see that, but now I'm seeing more and more.
So you got
people.
confidence that Hayden could shut somebody down right now?
Yeah.
Strong.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, that's my brain is certain because I've done all this work though. I've done 10 years.
Put the work in.
I've done 10 years, and like I'm telling people around here, like whenever you continue to do something over and over and over again, you're selling yourself.
Yeah.
You'll have this non-negotiable belief with yourself that you got to do this.
Yeah.
Because I've done this for so long. If you don't do the hard work, you've got a spiritual agreement that you don't deserve things. You're still battling because you're supposed to be here at 9, you got here at 9:01. It's these little bitty things. Edward told Van yesterday, he was bringing up some kind of shit, and he's like, well, what if I'm an anomaly? See, he's not an anomaly. If he's an anomaly,
What's that?
just a rare,
What is that?
one of a kind.
Can't wait to meet this Edward.
Yeah, well,
Huh? I mean, if he's one of a kind, let's get him up here.
Because he hasn't and won't do all the hard work yet. It's a process. The hard work can't be done in 6 months. The hard work can't be done in a year. It's like a 5, 10, 15-year thing. And then there's just this superpower of knowing. I try to get you to always know. Knowing is powerful. When will you be here?
9 o'clock.
When I called you, where are you?
Almost there.
Do I know? Do I know where he is?
No.
No.
Tell you.
What?
He didn't tell you.
He eventually told me.
Well, yeah. After
But he wouldn't have told me if I just said, okay, I'll see you. Too often I see people where they don't know, they're not certain. And once you're certain, you're powerful. There's a lot of power in certainty. So whenever I'm asking questions, and if it's vague, like my wife, she'd like to throat punch me. I know. And then I ask it again, and she just gets frustrated.
Yeah.
So this shit don't always work at home, like I
Right,
tell y'all
right.
it does. So whenever I ask her the same question 3 times, she wants to fight,
Yeah.
and because she does not want to give a specific answer, because I'm putting her on the spot. Like, what time would dinner be ready?
I don't know.
Well, I'm working on it right now.
I'm working on it. I know you're working on it, but like, how many minutes?
Yeah.
I don't
Quit
know.
rushing me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not rushing you. But if it's going to take like 10 or 15 minutes, I can go over there and get these 3 segments done. How long is it going to take you? 7 minutes. But like if you can train your brain to always operate at a certain state, you'll become so much more powerful, so much
Yeah.
more certain. You guys can probably feel the difference, especially when you're talking to people and they're so vague. Vagueness leads to no sales. Certainty leads to closes. Because people, if you're not certain, if you're not a certain person, if you're not certain and you don't know, what do you think you give other people? Uncertainty.
Yeah.
People can't decide when they're
They can feel
uncertain.
it.
People can't decide if they're in a state of uncertainty. People can't decide. Like, you should never try to get somebody to do something unless you know they've got all the information that they need to make the decision. But I think you guys probably rush forward and trying to get them to decide because they're like super pumped. I want to do this. But remember this. It's one thing to talk. It's another thing to decide. Fans, shut us down. Everybody, thank you. We'll be back next Saturday.